What's up, everybody? This is your boy Eminem. Good to see you on this Friday evening. Hope you guys had an awesome, productive day today. I wanted to come in and get you your treadmill motivation for the day. Appreciate you guys sharing it out with your friends, share with your loved ones, and share it with those that you don't like. Me and Christine had an awesome opportunity today, awesome chance today to hang out with my boy Ike. Shout out to my boy Ike of the Ike and Rome Show. Isaac Walker, that's my little brother. Appreciate you, man. Love you so much. We had an awesome time. We went over to a new spot in where was that spot at? We was in Los Angeles, and it was called Parks Finest. That's it. Parks Finest barbecue, Asian, Filipino barbecue. So if you want some good Filipino barbecue, look that up. The Parks Finest in Los Angeles. So look that up. But like I say, shout out to Ike and Rome Show today. Man, love you much, brother. You're doing some good things for the youth and the community, and we really appreciate you, man. We just had a blast, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. What's up? Frida, what's happening? How you doing? Hey, look, let's get into this. So we can get this thing over with, so you guys can get your Friday on. I know it's already late where you are. It's 5:40 where I am, so I already know it's late where you guys are. What really is God's plan for your life? Everybody's looking for their plan in God's life. I'm looking for my plan in God's life. We're all looking for a plan in God's life. And these are 8 vital keys that I found to be very institutional and very motivating to me growing up and learning what God's will was for my life and understanding his will for my life. So I just wanted to share these things. Let's do a recap right quick before we get down to number 6, I believe it is, and that's listening to the Spirit of God. Number 1 was we need to walk with God. I'm not going to go into a lot of details. You can look on YouTube and you subscribe there to Life's Word Ministry, and you can see all the other past treadmill motivations. But I want to go ahead and give you a little recap on what we've been talking about. Number 2 was you must surrender to the will of God. You must surrender your will to the will of God. That was number 2. And number 3 was you have to obey what you already know to be God's will. You have to obey what you already know to be God's will. And then number 4, we talked about you have to seek out godly input. Now, if I can put a pin right there and say how important it is for you to seek out good, godly input, and that's anything that you do. Coletta, how you doing? Everything that you do, whether it's business, whether it's ministry, you need to seek out good, godly advice. And that's all I'm going to put there. Now, number 5 was pay attention to how God has created you. Like I said on, I believe it was Wednesday, I said Genesis 1:1, where it says in the beginning God. In the Hebrew is Bereshit Elohim, and that's in the beginning God. And I said that if you would put that at the beginning of everything that you're doing in life, say God created you to, and then you fill in the blanks. And I said that it's not a egotistical thing to say that you are great because God created you to be great. So if you would say God created, and then you fill in the blanks, right? God created you to what? God created you to be successful. God created you to be happy. He created you to be loving. He created you to be successful. He created you to be wealthy, rich, whatever it is. You fill it in. But whatever you put, know that God has created you for a specific purpose in life that only you can fulfill. Rosanna, how you doing? Good to see you. Only you can fulfill that purpose that God has created in your life. No one else can fulfill that for you. Now, number 6, listen to God's Spirit. That's today. Listen to God's Spirit. If there's anybody you need to listen to, that's listening to God's Spirit. You can listen to your family, you can listen to your friends, you can listen to all kind of people, you can listen to the news, you can listen to the radio, whatever. But the most important person that you really need to listen to in your life, naturally and spiritually, is the Spirit of God. I've learned over my lifetime, I've experienced a major turning point in my own prayer life when I learned simply to shut up. You notice I shut up, right? See how easy that was? When I learned how to shut up while I was praying. How often do you get down to pray and you're the only one talking? That's not a conversation. You're the only one talking. And God is like, well, whenever you're done, maybe I can get in a word in edgewise. But I've learned through experience that the major turning point in my own prayer life is when I just shut down and I just shut up from talking and allow God to speak to my heart so I can hear his spirit. That's the only way that I was able to hear God was when I shut it down. I was like, okay, I need to just stop talking, because what do we want to do? We want to pray for our family. We want to pray for our job. We want to pray for our government. Oh, yeah. We want to pray for our neighborhood. We want to pray for our community. God bless me with this. God bless me with that. Oh, God bless, 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 bless. Right? And so we're doing all this talking and not allowing God's spirit to minister to us and speak to us. So that was one of the most important things that I learned in my own prayer life was to shut up. That may sound odd to you. It may sound odd to many of you that come in and you watch this Treadmill Motivation for Today, but it seemed odd to me at first. Okay, it really did. You see, I used to do all the talking and I used to do all the yakking and all, getting what I wanted. I was telling God what I wanted. I was giving him all my problems. I was complaining, always complaining. God, they did this to me. God, they did this to me. Oh, they treated me this way. Oh, they treated me. And God is like, really? And I'm sure that God he's patient now. He's definitely patient. He's like, okay, whenever you're done complaining, whenever you're done talking, whenever you're done, shut it down so I can encourage you. Shut it down so I can start speaking to you. Shut it down so you can hear my spirit. Shut it down for a little while. Just stop talking. So many people, they just talk. Tracy, how you doing? They just talk. Mouth running, nothing coming out. Just talk, a lot of noise, just a lot of noise. God is saying, be quiet. Just shut it down for a little while and listen to me for a change. There's a book that I want you to look up. It's by Bill Hybel. Bill Hybel, Hybel. Bill Hybel. Now, he wrote a book called Too Busy Not to Pray. That book will completely change the way you approach God through your prayer life. Bill Hybel, Too Busy Not to Pray. Look that book up. Find that book. It's a very good read. After reading this book, you'll have added a significant component to your prayer life. What is that significant component to your prayer life that we all need? Listening. Listening. That's the most important component to your prayer life. It's listening. Not you talking, not you bargaining with God. It's listening to what God has for you to say. Take time to listen to what God has to say. You might learn something. Yes, Bill Hybel, Too Busy to Pray. That's a really good book. Look that book up. Try this. Here's a little exercise that I want you guys to try. Now, when you guys get down to pray, if you have a prayer closet, if you have a particular place that you go and you pray and you spend time with God, take a notepad with you. Many of you probably already do this, but take a notepad with you and a pen or a pencil. Take it with you. Go into your prayer closet. Go into your quiet place. And when you're sitting down and you're getting ready to meditate on God, you're getting ready to pray, do this. Write down on separate piece of papers, okay? These are the titles that I want you to put on your paper. And this is going to help you understand and help you hear God's voice when he starts speaking to you and he answering certain things that you want. Now, here's some things. There's about 6 that I want you to write down. Ready? All right. Number 1. This is what I want you to write at the head of each of these pieces of paper. What is the next step for my career? That's question number 1 you want to write down. What is the next step for my career? Number 2 is, what is the next step for my ministry? What is the next step for my ministry? Number 3, what is the next step for my family? These are some serious questions. What is the next step for my family? All right. Number 4, what is the next step for my marriage? What is the next step for my marriage? Number 5, what is the next step for my education? What is the next step for my education? And the last one is, what is the next step for my finances? What is the next step for my finances? Write these down on separate pieces of paper. And then now when you go into prayer, when you go in for your prayer time, during your prayer time, meditate on these particular questions. Now you might have other questions. This is just a launching pad, okay, to kind of get you going and get you pointed in the right direction. Write these questions down, and then when you go down, sit down for prayer or kneel down to prayer, however you pray, you might lay down and prostrate yourself to God, lay flat on your face. However, there's no right or wrong way to pray. You just get in there, and if you want to fall out before God, fall out before God. That's just you and God. Don't let nobody tell you you have to pray a certain way. However you pray to God, you pray to God. You offer yourself up to God the best way that you know how. You just want to go before God and just strip naked. That's on you. If that's the way you roll, that's the way you roll. No one is going to tell you, oh, that's the wrong way to pray. No. However you feel comfortable in praying before your Father, you do that. But here, meditate on these questions, and on these questions that we've talked about. And like I say, you might have some other questions that you want to jot down, but this is a good place to start. God will start flooding your heart with ideas and information regarding one or more of these questions. But you have to be quiet in order to hear. Okay, now when you get down to pray, let's go through this. When you get down to pray, you have your list. You have all these on separate pieces of paper. Okay, because by the time God's finished with you, trust me, it will be filled up. You'll be taking some serious notes. If you really get in and really concentrate and meditate on God, and you're talking to him saying, God, what is my next step? And then you fill it in, and then you be quiet. Just shut it down and listen to the voice of God. God will answer you. He'll give you ideas. He'll give you information. He'll give you innovative ideas. He'll just flood your mind and your heart with all types of answers to these questions. Because one, you're showing that these questions are very important to you because you wrote them down. What does the Bible say about writing it down? Write the vision, make it plain, right? Well, you want to write it down so you can not only visualize it, but you can see where you're going, where you want to go in these questions that you want to ask God to answer for you. Now, if as he speaks to you, as God speaks to your heart, write down the answers that God is giving you in regards to these questions. Write them down. Write them down. Whatever you feel that's moving upon your heart. So let's say that is career. And God starts moving certain things in your lives in reference to your career. And he starts opening up things in your mind, in your heart. And you're like, oh, that's an idea. Write it down. These things come spiritually. They just don't come haphazardly and like, oh, I thought about something. No, those are dropped in from the spirit realm. God is dropping things in your heart and into your mind. Write those down so you don't forget it. And so what you want to do, it's a glorious thing to experience the sense of God's Spirit on you and guiding your thoughts and your words. That's an awesome experience. I don't know if you've ever experienced that before. Sometimes it's like goosebumps. It's like a cold chill has come over you. Have you ever felt the presence of God in the room? You're in there all by yourself. Now, don't be fooled now, because the devil will try to trick you and try to get you all scared thinking that's a ghost in the room. Really? No, afraid not. The Spirit of God will come into the place where you're at, and he'll start enveloping you and overcoming and just surround you with his love and just your skin. You're just like, I'm getting goosebumps right now. Goosebumps will you could just feel God's presence. It's a wonderful experience to be able to feel God's presence in such a way that the room gets warm, but your skin is cold. I don't know how to explain it other than, it's like walking into you coming from outside, you walk into a room where it's filled with air conditioning. I always say that Christine keeps her house like a polar bear, cave because it's so cold. It's like, blah, 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 it's like their family's like polar bears. Don't tell her I said that. All right. Anyway, but it's so cold. But when you come in, you get that you get that shiver, you get that jilt, that quickening. Well, that's God's Spirit Spirit moving upon you in such a way that there's that quickening power. Have you ever been those of you, bear with me, those of you that's been in full gospel churches, full Pentecostal churches, where the Spirit of God is really moving high, the Spirit of God is just moving, and you see people down praying and they jump and there's a jerk. They're not having Tourette's syndromes. That's the Spirit of God quickening their mortal bodies. But if people don't know what that is, they're like, oh my God, these people are sick. What are they doing? They're quickening, they're jumping. It's the Spirit of God coming upon them, and it quickens their mortal body. That's all that is. And if you haven't experienced that, you might have experienced it, but you just didn't know what it was until now. It's the Spirit of God quickening your mortal body. And it's a good thing to have that. Now, through experiences like this, God will show you many times with great clarity. There's nothing foggy about God's instructions. He talks with clarity, and he will open up ideas to you with clarity. Where there's confusion, God's not in it. So if you have a lot of questions, if you have a lot of confusion in your mind, that's not God, because God is not in confusion. There's no confusion with God. None. When God asks a question, he's not looking for information. God is moving you towards motivation. He's moving you towards motivation. The reason why he asked question, Adam, where art thou? Like he didn't know where he was. He knew where God was. He knew where Adam was. But he was moving, quickening, moving him to motivation. Like, okay, you're not where you're supposed to be, Adam. So he was motivating him to say, okay, I'm not where I'm supposed to be, Lord. No, you're not. That's why I'm asking, Adam, where art thou? Right? So God will move you to motivation, and he answers with clarity. And when he answers, and you write your answers down to the questions, meditate on them and say, okay, this is what I feel God has spoken to me about. XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. When God, Elizabeth, how you doing? When God was ministering to me during my times when I was courting Christine, I was in that courting stage of courting her, and I wanted to understand what our relationship was going to be. I wanted to understand where we were going in God. I wanted to understand, I didn't want all the outside influences of man and my family. I wanted to know what God was saying and what he wanted me to do within this relationship. Because she'll tell you, when we first started talking, I told her I didn't want a relationship. I just wanted a friendship. That's all I wanted. I just wanted a friendship. And that's the thing. When you get to know God, God starts off with this beautiful friendship, and then it turns into a full-blown relationship. And when God speaks, there's such clarity when he speaks. And when I heard from God, there was a preparation time. Okay, let me back up. There was a preparation time because I fasted. I fasted 3 different types. Those of you that know my story, I fasted 3 different types of fasts. So I will know that the direction that I was moving with Christine was the right one. There was a 5-day fast, there was a 7-day fast, and a 21-day fast. Lost a lot of weight too. So it helped more than just spiritually. It helped naturally. But it gave me clarity because now I stopped listening to the outside interferences, and I started hearing God because I got into a place that was quiet. I was meditating on his word, and now the questions that I had for God wasn't all about me. It was about us. It was about ministry. It was about other people. How can I help other people? How can I be a blessing to other people? So many people, when you get down to pray, you pray selfishly. God give me, God I need, God help me. There's nothing wrong with those, but prioritize those types of prayers. When you start praying for other people, God will start meeting your needs. When you start seeking the desires of other people, God will give you the desires of your heart. But you have to seek his desires. What are God's desires? And those are some of the things that I talked about early in the week of desiring God's will. What is God's will? What is it that you desire? Well, you need to desire God's will so you'll know exactly what his will is for your life. So these experiences, when you start asking questions and God starts answering these questions and he starts visiting you on a regular basis, Oh yeah, when God starts visiting you on a regular basis, now that's a serious experience. You know God is calling you to your prayer room. You can feel the pull on your heart. You can feel God pulling you to your war room, your closet, your place where you seek God away from family and friends. You'll feel that. This is a great time for you to really hear God and understand what God has for your life and how to really understand what his will is for your life. You want to long for these types of experiences. You want to long to hear God speak. You want to long to hear his presence. You want to long. There's a longing. You know, when I don't see Christine for a while, there's a longing in my heart. There's a longing in my spirit. I want to see her. I want to hear her voice. I just want to just be in her presence. I want to smell her perfume. I want to smell her hair. And those that know my story about her hair, oh yeah, that hair, boy. Anyway, y'all have to hear our testimony of how we met. It was the hair that did it. It smelled so good. But anyway, it was a longing that we have for each other because of the relationship that we've built between each other. And that's the kind of relationship that you ought to have with God. It's a longing. It's a desire that you want to do God's will, that you want to be in his presence, that you want to be around him. But that's only going to happen the more time that you spend with God. The more time you spend with God and the less time you spend with family, God is going to be like all around you. You could just feel his presence. That comes through seeking and desiring God's will for your life. He starts tugging on your heart. And then all of a sudden now you start to hear him. You're starting to recognize his voice. And when he starts to speak to you, you know the difference between the Lord's voice and the devil's voice. It's like when I was growing up and I knew my parents' voice. We can be in a crowded room and I can hear my dad's voice call my name. No other child is going to answer because that's my dad, right? I'm his son. But it's just like God. When God calls you, you're going to answer because if you're one of his children, oh, you know the Father's voice. I know my sheep know my voice. That's what the word said. So when you're one of God's children, you hear his voice, you know his voice. That's getting to know what God's will is for your life. Being in a place to where you can hear. What does John 10:27 says? My sheep hear my voice and I know them and they follow me. I'm not going to follow someone else that calls my name because it's foreign to me. I don't know that voice. I don't know them. But because I know my Father's voice, and when I hear his voice, it's a comforting. And I say, oh, that's my dad. I got to go. Or that's my mom. I got to go. Right? Same with God. When you're walking in the will of God, when you're doing what God wants you to do, and God calls you, you're like, oh, that's the Father calling. I got to go. There's some things I got to do. I'll see y'all. They'll be like, where you going, man? It's early. I got to go. You know, you got to get all spiritual and deep with him. Just say, you know, I got to go. Excuse me, but I need to leave. You know, you go spend time with the Father. Go spend time with God. You know, you might be in an atmosphere that everybody is slamming, jamming, partying and smoking weed and drinking and all the rest of that. You know, you just there because, you know, it might be a work thing or a family thing. You know, don't always have to be work. Your family can be hanging like that too. You know, there's nothing wrong with fellowshipping with your family, even if they're not saved. People say, oh, they're saved. They're not saved and I'm saved. I'm not going to hang out with my family. Y'all need to loose here. Stop all that. That's your family. That's still your family. You can be that one light and that one drawing power that draws them to Christ. Don't separate yourself from those that are unsaved. When's the last time you saw Jesus in the Word? Yeah, it's been a while since anybody's seen Jesus, but in the Word, that he separated himself from those that weren't saved. Most of the time, he was separating himself from those that were considered saved and religious. Figure that out. And he drew himself to those that were not of his fold because he was trying to bring them into the fold. So you can be that only vessel of that unsaved family that can draw them in, or your friends. So don't be so holy and high-minded and so saved that you can't be around folk that you came out of. Okay? You were once there. That's not saying go into the clubs and hang out in the clubs still. No, do it within moderation. Do it, respectfully. Okay, hey, I don't do that any longer. I'll meet y'all outside the club. I'll meet y'all at the house or whatever. Y'all go do your club thing. And, that's doing God's will. You're lining up with his will. You're lining up with God's purpose to be different. He's called you out for a reason, for a purpose that only you can fulfill. No one else can fulfill that position that God has purposed you for. No one. I said this on Wednesday. No one can feel the purpose that God has specifically designed and created you for but you. And it might be going back to your old friends, unloved, unsaved family members, and sharing the word of God with them. People say, I'm scared, I'm nervous. Why? I know it's not an easy thing to go back and witness to some of your homies, because they look at you like you're crazy. Oh, what? You holy now? You saved now? You what? Wait, what? You a Christian? What the heck is that, right? People will talk about you, but that's okay. If you really want to do God's will, if you really want to walk in his will, there's going to be some rock throwing. But with every rock, with every brick, take that and build you a house. Take that, build you a fence. Take that and build you a structure. Use the positive side of them throwing rocks at you. Build you a structure. You know how strong a house is that's made out of rock and brick? So let them keep throwing. It's okay. It's not a problem. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to put a pin right there. We're gonna call it a night because, like I said, it's Friday. Y'all got plans. Y'all might be getting ready for church or whatever. But I at least wanted to get in and get my Friday's version of Treadmill Motivation without the treadmill today. I appreciate you guys coming in. Hey, follow us on all social media outlets. Like I always say, we're on every social media outlet that I believe that's the Twitters, the Instagrams, the Facebook, the LinkedIn, the Instagram, all of them. But Twitter is the only one that's not Life Word Ministry. It's Life's Word Men. Life's Word in, M-I-N. But follow us. You want to contact us for any purpose, any reason to speak, to come and share, contact us at lifeswordministry@gmail.com. If you want to donate to the ministry, you can go to Facebook on Life's Word Ministry and you can donate there. We definitely appreciate that because there's things that we're endeavoring to do in the ministry. God is opening some doors for us. God is starting to reveal a lot more vision in my life, and it's lining up with what Christine had in her life, and we're coming together with our visions. And I did say visions. I'm not the only one with the vision. We both have visions that we want to do things for God, and we are setting the foundation now. There's some things that's coming. You guys keep it locked. I keep telling you there's some big things coming. Keep it locked. And you'll only hear it here. I'm not going to sit here and tell you all about it, but you'll hear bits and pieces. So you got to keep following us, and you'll get a chance to see, because we might use you. We might need you. You never know how God is going to open up ministries for us to work together, because we're looking to go worldwide. And I know we got to start small with citywide, nationwide, statewide, and all that, family-wide, But our ultimate goal, you got to have a bigger vision than where you are right now. But our bigger vision, bigger goal is worldwide. In sharing God's word and helping people, not only in the area of homeless and marginalized, but in business aspect, helping business church leaders in a business way of helping them in nonprofit sector. So there's a lot of things that we planning on doing. So hang with us. Pray for us as we pray for you. Let's encourage one another as we continue to do God's will and what His will is for all of our lives. Because like I said on Wednesday, this is a mankind ministry. Let me say it again. This is a mankind ministry. Mankind ministry, not just one part of group, not just one ethnicity, not just one type of person, not just one type of people. This is mankind. So that takes care of everybody. Okay, we're a church without borders. We're a church without walls, and God is going to bless in tremendous ways. So keep us before God as we keep you before God. Kev, what's up, big DJ Kev in the house, man? Leave your offering at the door because we're getting ready to close down. What's up, man? Hey, Kev. You got to get with us because we giving you some money before or after, man. You know, I don't like owing any bills and stuff. So let me know, man, what's up? You know, contact Christine or something like that. Let us know what we need to do to get you taken care of. You know, if you're going to wait or you want to get it taken care of before, you know, hey, it's all good, baby. Just give us a call, give us, you know, check with us and see what you want to do. Y'all check out Kev, DJ Kev Nice. He's a DJ. He's going to be DJing our wedding. DJ Kev Nice. Y'all need to look him up. Kevin DJ Kev Nice Berry. Y'all need to check him out. Giving this shameless plug for you, brother. Love you, man. More power to you, man. All right, you guys, I'm out. Time to go get some fun, get some baby girl some dessert or something. You know, I'm supposed to be on a dessert. On a dessert. On a diet. Not me. Anyway, go get her something sweet to eat. All right, you guys. Be blessed. I pray that God will bless you through this weekend, that he will cover you, that he will keep you safe in all things. Keep you safe. I pray that until we meet again, that God will bless you in tremendous ways, open up avenues for you, that you will see that it is God and not man that's blessing you in the way that he's blessing you financially, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, materialistically, spiritually, in all areas. Just be blessed, you guys. Tracy, thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful weekend. I look forward to seeing you guys on Monday so we can get this thing wrapped up. 8 vital keys in knowing what God's will is for your life. That's what we're talking about. 8 vital keys to knowing what God's will is for your life. In order to be successful in any area and whatever capacity of life that you're in, you have to follow God's will in order to be successful in all aspects of your life. So you need to know what God's will is for your life so you can be successful. All right, guys. Appreciate you so much. Love you much. I will see you on Monday. Christine, you know I love you. I just called to say I love you. That's for Christine. That ain't for y'all. All right, guys. See you later.